What's up, good people? What's up, good people? At least I think we are live. We are live already. I see people already in the building. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Got a good one for you today. I wasn't planning on covering this, but I don't know. I decided I'll go ahead and do it because I felt like I've already went over this, but I'll go over it again. Shout out to David Carroll. Repetition is the mother of skill. And that's that. That's that. So let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's up, good people? Welcome back to another one. Glad to be in here. Glad you could make it. I saw somebody in the chat said, something like loving the new setup. This really ain't necessarily a new setup. This is kind of an older setup. This is how it was set up previously when I first, got the new studio. So this was the look I went with at first. Then I got a little comfortable and cozy on the couch because, well, y'all can't see, but it's a couch over there. But yeah, it was comfy and cozy on the couch, and I kind of like that setup, and it gave me the whole blurred out background look. I was up closer on the camera, and you could see what was going on in the back and everything. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that look, but I changed it back up to what I'm doing right now. But shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to oh shoot, hold on. One little quick thing that I forgot to do. One quick second. No big deal. But shout out to everybody in the building as always. Shout out the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things started. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to J Mont. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. J Mont Reacts in the building. Got Feminine Melanin, who you and RM, yeah, y'all spammed me out real bad this morning. I kind of appreciate that to some degree, maybe, because maybe a lot of comments makes them send it to more people. Perhaps, I don't know. But y'all spammed it out real bad. I can't even shout out all the early people because it's just all you and RM. But shout out to General. Hold on, let me make that right. Let me get that right. General Isimo Washington in the building. But notice how you will never see someone like Banks tell black women they should marry white or Latino, or tell somebody like black men they should marry white or Latino women, because if they did, the B-dubs would riot and find him like they did Charles Tyler. Rest his soul. Thank you for the, well, I was about to say thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. But no, thank you for your early comment. Shout out to E. Capone. Shout out to SKC in the building. Just a money grab for Ralph Richard Banks, who wrote the article to re-promote his book, Is Marriage for White People? That says it all right there, don't it? that literally says it all right there. That's kind of what man, you just touched on in one sentence why I was like, I don't even want to cover this, because I was like, that's what it is. That's what it is. He's going over old information. Some of it, a lot of it, been, more or less debunked as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, what is he really saying? What is he really saying? He's quoting, like, I'll get into it and I'll do a breakdown of the article and everything I deem to be wrong with it. But shout out to Feminine Melanin once again, who spammed me out. Shout out to RM once again. Snuggles says drop the link. No link dropping. At least not yet. 69 people in the building. Y'all hit the like button. 69 people in the building. Hit the like button. Shout out to E. Capone once again. Shout out to Little Rock in the building. Shout out to, I can't even find nobody because the same person spammed it out the chat room. Shout out to the Hood Servative. Shout out to the Hood Servative. He said, your daytime talk show vibe coming together nicely. Right on. But appreciate everybody in the building. I'm about to go ahead and get into it. E. Capone getting it started off right with a super chat. Do appreciate that. I ain't bumped it in so long I could barely find it. Here we go.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Right on. Thank you for putting $2 on it. Thank you for putting $2 on it. Appreciate it. But we about to go ahead and get into this bad boy. Going to hit the share button. I see you down there. Wizard X just dropped $1.50 on it, which I've never had a drop for $1.50 super chat. Never had a drop for $1.50 super chat. This is from the New York Post. I don't mean to go criticizing the man saying he need to just write another book, but after SKC said that he's just promoting his old book from 2011, that's how it looks. That's legit how it looks. He's promoting his previous work. That's what it looks like. That's what it certainly looks like he's doing. But shout out to Wizard X. Shout out to Wizard X dropping $1.49 on it. You know what? I do got something for you. Hold on. I do got something for you. Damn it, where is it at? I ain't used that in a long time. Hold on. Not there. I can't find it. I'm trying to find Sharif from Menace to Society. I'm trying to hit you with the Sharif from Menace to Society. It is gone. There we go.
Man, I got $2 for you, man. I know I'm a little short, but you come.
That's what I gotta do. When you don't do $1, you don't do $2. That's what I gotta give you. All I got is $2, man. I know I'm a little short, but and we have to do better than 134. That was 134? No, that was 149. He said we got to do better than 134 super chats. LOL. Right on, right on. You know, they be giving me the loose change in their pockets though. They be giving me the loose change in their pockets. They be giving me that loose change in their pockets. It's all good. I ain't tripping. I am not tripping. But appreciate you coming through, dropping the $10 on it. I ain't been playing my drops because but we bringing them back today. We bringing them back today. What we get for $10 around here?
What do we get for $10? Everything you want. Everything? Everything. You
Had to bring it back. Shout out to the standard RLC. He says, I'm a teacher and I can't wait until summer vacay so I can catch the shows live more often. It's the standard RELC. Huh. Why is it the standard RELC and I don't see an L? Okay, anyway, I'm going with RLC. RLC. Okay, I think that's what you're trying to say. The standard RLC. All right, cool. Gotcha. Appreciate the $5 super chat. You threw me off, but I do appreciate you coming through, putting 5 on. All right. We about to dig into this. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream, but let's get ready to go. Let's get it. All right. The article titled Why More Black Women Should Consider. I never thought of it. Why more Black women should consider marrying white men. Let's get into it and see what they are talking about. 2 of the most powerful positions in the United States government will soon be held for the first time by Black women, Kamala Harris and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Harris, as we all know, is the Vice President of the United States, and Brown Jackson could soon become a Supreme Court justice. But Harris and Brown Jackson also share a personal attribute that is equally, holy shit, that is equally noteworthy. Each has a white husband. You know, when I read this, I didn't even realize that he said equally. Why on earth is that equally noteworthy? Equally. Is RLC. You said it. Oh, you said Rick last time I super chatted. That's because I had things far. Okay, I know why I did that. Because when I be staring at these screens for a long time, L's start looking like I's. Normally, when I botch a word, it's normally because an L started looking like an I, or an E started looking like an O, or it's certain letters that just start looking the same when you stare at a screen when I stare at a screen for too long. So that's why I said Rick. But, all right, cool. Or maybe I thought that was see, I would know that wasn't a capital I in the middle of the R and the C. But anyway, but no, I got it. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. And thank you for D-Rock Den, who sent a cash app, and I believe he said, let's get it. Yep, that's what he said right there. Shout out to D-Rock Den in there. All right, now let's talk about that. Let's talk about why would possess a man to say that a woman being a Joe Biden skipped heartbeat away from being the most powerful human on earth. Okay, she's Joe Biden's 97-year-old skipped heartbeat away from being the most powerful human on earth. Yet he says that is equally, but that being accomplishing all of that is equally noteworthy as just marrying a white dude. Like, seriously? Like that's mind blowing. That is a mind blowing statement that when I first read the article, that went over my head. I didn't even catch that. I honestly didn't even catch that. But what would possess a man to say that is equal? Like, dude, like the black dude who wrote this article, Ralph Richard Banks. Like, you have to worship white men more than the swirlers to say that is equally noteworthy. I remember, and I got to call out SKC, who I know he's listening, and SKC is my dude. I rock with SKC. I'll probably be hitting him back up for some, because I want to. Everybody's been complimenting my intro, but I want to upgrade it. I want to upgrade it. I want to do something else with it. But so I'll be hitting you up soon for that. But I remember when SKC was in a debate with somebody, and they were debating whether or not a SYSBM type of lifestyle is better or more beneficial than a I'll just say a pro-black lifestyle. I ain't even trying to shout out nobody that I don't even, Anyway, they were debating that. And SKC made a point that I disagree with. And I gave him some pushback on that one when I got a chance to talk to him about it. And he had said something like, look at people like Robert Smith, and he named somebody else who they were once married to black women, but then now they're married to white women. Look at how much more successful they are. They've, he was worth hundreds of millions when he was married to a black woman, but when he got married to a white woman, he became worth billions. Right now, I think he's worth like $8 or $9 billion. He's worth like $8 or $9 billion right now. And I had to hold on, SKC. You're giving that white woman too much credit. All right. That man is a billionaire based off he's a billionaire. He made them billions based off the brilliance. The brilliance of that black man, his knowledge, his insight, his intelligence, his business savvy, all of that. That's how he made that money. We ain't about to give the glory to, that he was just going to be rich. But when she came along and sprinkled some white girl magic on him, then now all of a sudden he was able to go to greater heights and become a billionaire. No, I'm not going to know that man would have been successful no matter what. No matter what. Now, conservative raises an interesting point. Look at Carlton right now versus look at Will. I'm with you on that type of effery, but I'm not going to say that one man's, basically, to make the equivalent argument would be to say, Will Smith, look how successful he is. See, he married a black woman. That's how he's successful. Carlton not as successful as Will. Why? He with a white woman. See, that's when we're making stupid arguments. That's when somebody on the pro-black side of it will be making a stupid argument to try to make it seem like Will's success has something to do with Jada. That's what I thought SKC was doing when he was trying to say that Robert Smith's success had something to do with the white girl magic. Like, no. The only white girl magic that's going to happen is when he die. And when he die 15, 20, 30 years from now, and he's worth like $40 billion by the time that he died. When all that 40 billion transfer over to her, that's the white girl magic trick right there. That's gonna be the magic. She gonna walk by all his black female loved ones, sister, aunties, cousins, all of them. Gonna look them up and down at the funeral as she walking up out of there like white girl magic, bitch. Like that's where the magic trick comes after he died. She taking all that money. But I ain't gonna give her credit for him making that money. Just like I'm not gonna give somebody credit for who's Denzel Washington is still with a black woman. I'm not gonna give her credit for that man's acting skill and ability. I'm not gonna give her credit for that. Just like Juanita Jordan don't get credit for Michael Jordan's fadeaway. No, And whatever white chick he with now don't get credit for him owning the shoe shoe business, the dominating the shoe industry. We ain't doing that over here. I don't care what the race of the woman is. But anyway, but that is a ridiculous statement. A ridiculous statement in the highest order that he talked about Ketanji Brown Jackson, soon to be Supreme Court Justice, and Kamala Harris, one bad Joe Biden heartbeat away from being the most powerful person on earth. He said that Ralph Richard Banks, the man who wrote this article, the man who wrote this book, wrote the book, Is Marriage for White People, literally said in this article that is equally noteworthy. But Harris and Brown Jackson also share a personal attribute that is equally noteworthy. If he would have just said it was noteworthy, I would have read it and kept going. This dude said equally noteworthy, and that equally noteworthy attribute that's up there with almost being the president, a heartbeat away from the president, and being a Supreme Court justice, that equally noteworthy accomplishment is marrying a white dude. Like they literally said that. He literally said that. This fact is significant. This fact is significant. He goes on to say, the effects of racism have left well-educated Black women with a paucity. That's not a common word, but a paucity means a small or insufficient amount. The effects of racism have left well-educated Black women with a paucity of Black male partners, according to Brookings Institute data. Black men are less likely than Black women to have completed high school and 50% less likely to have attained a 4-year college degree. Now, when they say 50% less likely, when they throw that out there, one, I don't know what they're talking about when they throw that out there. Whenever it could be some manipulation of the numbers, because when you look at the numbers from just this raw perspective right here, this is Black men. This is simpleblackdemographics.com. This is old hat. We've went over this. We've talked about this. We've studied this. We've looked. It ain't even much to study. It's in just plain, just right there, but blunt, bold, and right in your face. Blackdemographics.com. 19% of Black men have at least a bachelor's degree or higher. 24% of Black women have at least a bachelor's degree or higher. It's right there in plain numbers. Right there in plain numbers. So I don't know exactly where or how. I don't know exactly how they get there when they say that Black women or Black men, I'm sorry, Black men are less likely than Black women to have completed high school and, oh no, this is part, and 50% less likely to have attained a 4-year college degree. I don't know how they get to that 50%. I even clicked on this and read along in the article that they read, basically in the article that I read from there, basically debunked the notion that they're 50% less likely to have attained a 4-year college degree. So it's like they're, I don't know what he's talking about right there. I don't know what he's talking about right there. The numbers debunk them. The numbers debunk him real easy. The numbers debunk him real easy. Let's see what y'all talking about down here. He said 75% of Black women don't have a college degree. Well, a 4-year bachelor's degree. It's a lot of associates and stuff going on in there. Sorry for the dead air, but I'm trying to look through the comments Trying to phone a friend on that 50% because I couldn't find any data. I'm trying to see if y'all got. I couldn't find anything that really explained that 50% that they're talking about. I guess I'll blow that up a little bit, maybe, perhaps. So y'all can see that. Hopefully y'all can see that. If y'all can't see it, it don't matter. I'll read aloud. I'm reading aloud for you, but either way it go. But anyway, yet despite the shortage of suitable Black partners, and they established that shortage based off the statement that they said about 50% less likely to attain a 4-year college degree. But like I just showed with the numbers, 19% of Black men have at least a 4-year bachelor's degree, and 24% of Black women have at least a 4-year college degree. Yet, despite the shortage of suitable Black partners, Black women have also been the least likely of any minority group to marry outside of their race, according to the data in the Pew Research. Rather than partner with men of other races, many heterosexual Black women either don't marry or marry Black men with whom they are not especially with whom they are not especially well matched. And these mismatched relationships contribute to the African Americans having the highest divorce rate of any racial group. Black women are the only demographic to have a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate. Now, that's some stats that we went over before on this show. That they get married less and then they file divorce more. They file divorce more than anybody. He is saying it's because of these mismatched relationships. And he would probably be right if it was the case that Black women made more money than Black men. But as we've pointed out here plenty of times, Black women don't make more money than Black men, despite being more educated than Black men. And like we've pointed out here a great plenty of times, that even when you're looking at white women are more educated than white men, but they don't make more money than white men. It's like that generally, typically, for the most part, across the board. It's like that for pretty much like that across the board. It's like that with every group. Wait, that's not even what I meant to bring up yet. That's not what I meant to bring up yet. We could look at this one right here if we're basing it just strictly off education. And again, for people that have been for the old school folks on my channel, y'all know this is old hat. We've went over this before, but repetition is the mother of skill. Whenever they drop in a major publication, and when they drop an article in a major publication like the New York Times, we will go over it, we will look at it, we will review it, and we will say something that makes sense. When you look at Black, and keep in mind, this is talking about the college gap by race and gender. The college gap by race and gender. Percent of individuals ages 25 to 35 with 4 years of college education. All right. It is true that when talking about white women, white men, Black women, Black men, it is true that Black men are at the bottom, but right next to us, it is Black women. You could look at the dark dotted lines and see the gap between Black men and Black women. You see that gap between Black men and Black women with the with the solid dark blue line and the dotted dark blue line. You can look up and you can see the gap when you look at the light blue solid line and the light blue dotted line. The light blue dotted line represents white women. The light blue the light blue solid line represents white men. You could see right there that the gap between white women and white men when it comes to education is equally wide as the gap between Black women and Black men when it comes to the percent of individuals aged 25 to 35 that has attained 4-year college education. Is more or less like that across the board when you're comparing white to Black. So the same problem that Black women have, statistically speaking, white women would have that same problem because that gap is equally wide. Yet you don't hear white women complaining about that. And to the untrained ear, one would say that, Oh, well, they're not complaining or saying anything about that because white men make more money than them, despite of them being more educated. But it's the same with black men and black women. Black men make more money than black women, despite black women being more educated. That is simply just the factor of how it is in America. Women are more educated now, have been more educated for a while. Men have been making more money. Men still make more money. Like, we know that. That's old hat around here. We know a factory job, a blue collar job, a construction worker job can pull in more money than somebody with a degree in social work or basket weaving. It just is what it is. Osworld123 in the building with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you coming on through, dropping $10 on. Appreciate you coming on through, dropping $10 on it. Where we at here? Hope I didn't miss nobody else who contributed to the show. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. All right. Let's see. All right. Don't get pumped past and kicked up out of here, Alicia Sinclair. You came on my show before. We had a good conversation. Don't get ignorant. Don't get ignorant. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Where were we? All right. Let's carry on. Rather than partner with men of other races, many heterosexual black women either don't marry or marry black men with whom they are not especially well matched. And these mismatched relationships contribute to African Americans having the highest divorce rate of any other racial group. Like I pointed out, every other group of women, except for Asian women and Asian men are pretty much equal when it comes to education. I think Asian men, like 51% of them have a bachelor's degree, at least a 4-year degree, and 50% of Asian women have a bachelor's degree. But for white women, black women, Hispanic women, they all are more educated than their men. But in all cases, the men make more money, but only black women are the ones waving their nuts in everybody's face about it. Like, so I like that can't be left out of the discussion. That can't be left out of this discussion. It can't. You can't gloss over that. You can't overlook that. Like, that has to be averaged into the equation. Has to be. But anyway, and these mismatched relationships contribute to African Americans having the highest divorce rate of any other racial group. In fact, black women are the only demographic to have a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate. Oh, that's their daughter. See, I didn't even know they had a daughter. Cool. Happy family. Anyway, with her husband and daughter looking on, Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson attends a recent confirmation hearing a bit more of a decade ago. I published a book. Is Marriage for White People. That's what this whole article is about. He got in the New York Times. I forgot what publication. The New York Post. I'm sorry, not New York Times. He got in the New York. I keep wanting to say New York Times. The New York Post. He got in there basically to promote his old book and bring up some stuff that's either outdated or was I don't know if to say misguided, but didn't factor a lot of other things into the equation. But here it is. He says, a bit more than a decade ago, I published a book, Is Marriage for White People, that examined the decline in marriage across American society, and especially among African Americans. It focused in particular on the predicament of Black women. The book raises the possibility that Black women like Harris and Brown Jackson would do well to open themselves to partnering with men who are not Black. It is an assumption to assume that women like them women who are at the highest peak of accomplishment in this country are not open to to getting with men of all different races. The mere fact that all the people that were all the possible not people that were going to be nominated or considered for to be on the Supreme Court justice, all the black women who were considered for that, the majority of them were with white men. So that proves that they're not in a state where they need to be nudged on to consider something. And I've got it's an easy way to debunk that, but hold on, just give me a second. Let me read a little bit more. Like Harrison Brown Jackson would do well to open themselves up to partnering with men who are not black. After all, black men appear to have no problem marrying out. The same Pew report revealed they are twice as likely as black women to marry a non-black spouse. I don't got the data, just one click away on that one, but we pretty much know that it's true. Black men is like 85% are married to 85% of married black men are, no, I'm sorry, 15% of married black men are married to non-black women, and somewhere in the area of 7 to 8 or whatever percent of black women are married to non-black men. But anyway, my book generated a considerable controversy and exposed issues within Black America. While younger people appeared more open to interracial relationships, a black woman old enough to be my mother made a point in telling me I was a disgrace to my race. Now, one thing that I do want to stop, push, pause, take a minute to talk about here. One thing that I do want to take a minute to talk about here, and shout out to BGS on this one. Shout out to BGS on this one. He pointed out that through some data mining that he did, and I don't even have that ready to go. I should have, but he did a real good stream on it. Actually, I'll post a link to that stream in the description. If you know what stream I'm talking about, you can drop that in the chat room. But he did a really good stream where he pointed out that 15% of black babies were sired by non-black men. Now, remember that number I gave about the 15% marry out rate among black men. With black women, it's a 15% rate of the kids that they're having not having a black father, which means they're already doing what this article has suggested. They're already attempting to do it, that they're just failing at it. They're being impregnated and they're not being married by men of other races. Now, I'm not even trying to make a big, large point about all these men. They don't want to, I'm not even trying to make, I'm just talking about what the numbers say. The numbers are showing that they are trying at what they're being accused of not trying or not considering. The title of this article was Black women should consider marrying a white man. If they're being impregnated by men of other races, I'm talking about white and Latino men, clearly they're trying, clearly they're considering it, clearly it's on the table. clearly that's a on the table proposition. Okay, I don't like when people come in here with stupid stuff. I don't see how this article is triggering. Who's triggered? That's what women do. They come in here and say, why are y'all triggered about this? Nobody's triggered. We're breaking down data, facts, and stats. Like, come on. That's like, come on. But shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. It says nothing is stopping other men from asking black women out. You can't expand without the man wanting you, which they don't. We'll get into that. We'll touch on that. Because that kind of gets touched on in the article. Oh, he's talking about the women in the chat, not you. Okay. I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. That's fine. But my man Theo Waff in the building with the $100 super chat. Do greatly appreciate Theo, the absolute 100% man. That Theo's the man. Theo's the man. And you know what? I gotta re-edit the special drop for you, because the one that they sent me gives me a copyright strike every time, and I can't even play it. I can't even play it, but I can edit it to where it don't got that Godzilla. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. I think I botched it. I don't think that's how I go. I know I got the boom, 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 boom right. But anyway, it's funny when you listen to the old Godzilla movies, they still got that same boom, 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 boom is in there. I didn't realize where they got it from until I watched the old Godzilla movie recently. But shout out to Theo coming through, putting $100 on it. We got to let Smokey count up the money to make sure it's all there.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140.
That's $100.
Shout out to Theo in the building, dropping the 100 on it. Dropping the 100 on it. But all right, digging back into it. But yeah, like that, like to me, that's like a kill shot on the whole article. 15% of black men are marrying out. 15% of black babies are sired by non-black men. Those two different 15% numbers could be a coincidence. They're probably not as connected as it just sounds like. But it's still just it's still a kill shot to the article. Somebody says, Houdini, you said I'm ignoring your super chats. I beg to differ. That's a kill shot. That is a kill shot. It shows that whatever they're saying that black women need to do, it shows that they are already doing it. They're already on that job. They're already swirling in I would say large numbers that rival black men. They're just not securing marriages with the people they're swirling with at numbers that rival black men. I heard an interesting theory, and I'm got to reference it was somebody on Dr. T. Johnson's panel. It may have been Dr. Ron O'Neill, it may have been BGS, it may have been Dr. T. Johnson. It may have been Green Gorilla. I don't know which one it was. I was listening without watching, so I just heard it. They said that white men are less likely to marry black women because they know that they're not going to make a white baby with her. Mm-hmm. Whereas black men, they know and they generally understand or have the view that they marry a non-black woman that's still going to technically be a black baby, given just the history and the social norms of this country. Given the history and social norms of this country, it's still going to be viewed as a black baby. That it just is is what it is. Is what it is on that one. And that was a really, really good point. That was a really good point. That it just pointed out that black man gets with a woman of another race, he could still see the blackness in his baby. You don't really see the white. You just don't. You just don't. And if that's something that's important to you, that your kids look like you, then it's like it's a non-starter for a white man and a black woman. It was an interesting concept. Something I hadn't even really thought about like that. But Houdini in the building had to go up and find that. He says, UNC coach Hubert Davis got smoke from black men and black women for saying he's proud of his wife. He's proud of his wife is white. Did he say he's proud that his wife is white? If he worded it like that, that do sound goofy. It sounds goofy to me when it comes off sort of like how Ralph Richard Banks said it in this article. He talked about Ketanji Brown Jackson, Supreme Court Justice, talked about Kamala Harris, who's one Joe Biden heartbeat skip away from being the most powerful person on earth. He said it was equally noteworthy that they married a white dude. Like, when people start talking like that, they sound stupid to me, regardless, regardless of where they're at on it. But thank you for the $5 super chat. I have to check out Hubert Davis's direct quote. I will have to check out Hubert Davis's direct quote. But Theo said, I gave him a full tribute when he dropped a $100 super chat. I never even read it. I did that to Ike one time. Says, university educated black men such as myself don't do well with ABW either. Go where you are celebrated. SYSBM. Women like Harris can go marry Martians for all I care. Thank you, non-black men, for taking this burden from us. There's a certain individual. I ain't trying to stir nothing up, but there's a certain individual who got married to another individual, and I said that man deserves a Purple Heart. send a folded American flag to his mother and father. he's a patriot. he's taking on the burden, taking on that heavy lifting. But anyway, but no, thank you, Theo. Do appreciate that. Let's see. Stats say sisters who are with white men are being pumped and dumped rarely end up as single mothers. White women who get pumped and dumped in by blacks have higher percent of being single mothers. Hold on. Stats say sisters who are with white men and being pumped and dumped in rarely end up as single mothers. Send me the stats on that, because if 15% of black babies are sired by non-black men, then it is some pumping and dumping. It is some pumping and dumping going on there. Says white women who get pumped and dumped by black men have higher percent of being single mothers. Listen, I think there's a definitely a bottom barrel of white women who have the same poor mating choices as a percentage of a percentage of black women, to where they're bottom feeding, bottom of the barrel dudes, reckless serial impregnators is yeah, they be knocking up trashy white women. Like, that's a thing. I'm not going to deny that that's a thing. Generally speaking, irrelevant to my point, but that's a thing. Okay, Sinclair says the crybabies keep muting me. Well, I'm about to mute you for calling them crybabies. How about that? If you have people who got legitimate grievances, people who got a legitimate grievance can bring it to me. And if my chat room is getting out of control, I will check the chat room, because I'm not that dude that just think any woman with a disagreeing opinion needs to be muted. Hell, I just saw Jada LaRue. Well, she's under the name Feminine Melanin. That's the homegirl. She just sent a statement sort of disagreeing. Disagreeing statements are not completely unwelcomed. They're not unwelcomed at all. I mean, in fact, let me make it clear. They're welcomed. So I don't just kick people out of here for disagreeing. But if when you came to file your grievance and it was disrespect in the grievance that you filed, I tend to believe whatever you said that got you muted, deleted, or timed out, that caused you to come file the grievance. I tend to believe whatever you said then was out of pocket and out of line. So with that, I'm like, whatever. Whatever. I had to mute you on up for that purpose. You came with disrespect when you filed the grievance. The hell you think about to happen? Aaron B said, drop the link for Snuggles the Divester. What the hell? Snuggles. We don't know what Snuggles is. So don't apply any attributes to Snuggles. We have no clue what the hell Snuggles is. My bad, yeah. I'm sitting here messing with something. All right, there you go. I had to straighten something out behind the scenes. Had to straighten something out behind the scenes. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't need to see me doing that. I gotta fix that. I do gotta fix that. But anyway, I'm back. We back in here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Theo sent another one. Theo came through with another one. Feminine melon. If that's true, it just mean you women crave. Okay. All right. Women crave our BBC. All right. They do. All right, back into the article. Vice President Kamala Harris, second gentleman. That's still funny. Will there ever be a first gentleman? But most significant issues was between black men and women, while some black women were made uncomfortable by the book and the way it put them in the spotlight. My bad, y'all. Hold on. All right, we're uncomfortable by the book and the way it put them in the spotlight. Many others embraced its message of empowerment. That was a message that not all black men wanted to hear. At one of my book talks in Washington, D.C., I worried a fight would break out between a young black woman who asserted her right to choose whatever type of man she wanted and an older black man who condemned such sentiments as betraying the race. This is where the propaganda comes in. Because we know through and through 100% that more black women condemn black men for doing that than the other way around. That's where the propaganda comes in. We know that black men face far more criticism for doing that than the other way around. We already generally know, we don't know for a fact, but we can rest on a pretty fair assumption that a black man, like if Barack Obama would have had some lily white blonde woman on his arm while running for president, he probably would not have got to be president. That's just a reality. The support amongst black women would have been less. I do honestly believe that. In fact, he had to do that. He had to get the blackest woman he could possibly find. Other critics, including some black women, contended that white racism precluded black women from finding non-black partners. No, white men have always had free reign to get with black women since the inception. Since black women have been in this country, white men have always had free reign to do it. And if they did it and when they did it, didn't too many. I mean, maybe they got called a you know what lover. Maybe they got called that, but still, that nothing was really preventing them from doing it. Nothing was preventing them from doing it. And this convinced many black women that they cannot or should not partner with non-black men, even if the alternative was remaining unpartnered or in a bad relationship. As a result, many black women feel they should marry down before they marry out. This concept of marrying down is bogus. It's only something that happens when women start making more money. Now they're marrying down, something that men have done for years with no problem. Now there are differences between male and female, so I acknowledge that why it's hardwired into us to not care that if our woman makes less money than us. That's not a big deal. But women are obviously, they're the word that gets thrown around in this space, hypergamous. They obviously like we know to deal with that. We know and we understand to deal with that they want a man who's either on their level. Here I'm using their lingo. They want a man that makes what they make or more. That's generally what they want. So yes, but the mere brute fact of the data, even though men, including black men, even though black men make more money than black women, is just not going to divvy up that evenly to where every woman will end up with a man who they make every woman will end up with a man who they make less money than. It's just not going to happen that way. It's just not going to, because there are going to be some men that make a lot of money who are going to end up with women who make little to no money, which means that the women that make a lot of money, like the men that earn a lot of money, are going to be lacking some partners up there at the top, which means they're going to statistically have to date down. Shout out to Kevin Samuels for his wording when he says they could price themselves out of the market. You can price yourself out of the market as a woman if you start making so much money, and then you say that a man has to make that type of money. It's not that the men don't exist. There's more black men making six figures than what there are black women making six figures. There's more black men making 250,000 than what there are black women making 250,000. There are more black male millionaires than what there are black female millionaires. There are more black men making more money than black women. So when black women talk about this, they're not talking about non-existent men. They're talking about not being able to get a man that makes the money that they make, because the type of money that they make is rare. So quite naturally, those men are rare, and those men have options. And one of those options and criterias on their list, on their checklist, when they're making that much money, is not a woman. Is one of the criterias is not for the woman to have to make that same amount of money. It's just simple mathematics that you're going to price yourself out of the market. But they try to spin that as the men don't exist, which all the data shows that they do. All the data shows that they do. I can't. Wow, I wish I can get that part at the top to disappear. And by the way, completely off subject, but I really do have a thing. While they thought that colorism stuff, I really do have a thing for women who are that dark. I really do. just a side note. Those will be talking about colorism and featureism and darkism and all that stuff. They crazy as hell. Anyway, I explained in the book why black women should not be pressured to sacrifice their own chances for happiness out of some misplaced loyalty to black men, nor should black women feel beholden to black men under the guise of advance the race. Okay, this is something that we got to deal with. This is something we got to deal with. We got to look at here, and we always have to come back to this. We always have to come back to this. Whenever we start talking about this, and with women, they talk about their struggle love. They'll talk about that struggle love and all of that stuff. Listen, I hate it. I hate it, and I disliked, and I've got to the point of hating the whole Pookie and Ray Ray versus educated lame discussion. I don't like it. It's gotten goofy, and I've checked out of it. But one of the good things that came out of it is that it did highlight in real time, just based off the reactions from women and how they responded to it. They basically it basically highlighted their how they gravitate towards certain dysfunctions. Not going to use that word toxic, but they will gravitate towards certain dysfunctions. They will have a preference for dysfunction. Sometimes when they describe the type of guy that they like, embedded in the language that they're using is some dudes who carry a certain lack of stability. I mean, if they can get stability in that dude that they got a preference for, great. But when they talk about what their preferences are, a lot of them, they flat out lean towards certain aspects of of dysfunction. I'll just say it like that. I'll put it mildly like that without deep diving into the details. All right. I don't think that can get spun as loyalty to the race. If a woman is with a dude who ain't doing nothing with his life, we can't try to retrofit a fist in the air for the race, for the community. Like, no, that is not what was happening. She's with that dude for other reasons. She's with that dude for other reasons. Either she's feeling him, she's feeling the swag, the sex is good. He putting it down in the bedroom. That's the guy that got her juices flowing. That's the guy that she made a decision to be with for whatever emotional reasons. And then after those emotional reasons took place, then she tried to retrofit, everything else. She tried to make him be something else. She had primitive mating standards or primitive mating criterias. In the Educated Lane versus Pookie and Ray Ray debate, it did highlight that. It did highlight that when the data was laid out, plain as day, that no, this is what this is the percentage of men who make X amount of money. This is the percentage that's educated. These are the ones. These are the attributes they have. These are the outcomes that they get. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. And then we heard it right from the horse's mouth. But you don't get the pussy wet. Like, so they end up in that situation where, yeah, they didn't got impregnated. They didn't got knocked up by a serial impregnator. They didn't got bad results. They didn't got these bad results. And then now it's being spun as they got some fist in the air loyalty to the race. It's like, no. Square black dude with no swag and a good job would have better outcomes if y'all was really race loyal. So it's like they can't spin it that way. They just can't. Oh, my bad, Theo. I didn't even read that. What did that say? Some black men earning 500K be like, that's so small. I can't even see that from here. Let me just go back up and find it. My bad, yeah, my bad. Theo back in the building with another one. He said some black men earning over 500K be liking them Brazilians. ABW earning 6 figures got nothing on a gorgeous unemployed Brazilian. Thank you for the super chat. And what you're speaking to, Brazilian or not Brazilian? I know you about them Brazilians. I know what you want, but Brazilian or not Brazilian, what we're talking about is quite simple. There's something to say about a college educated woman, a smart woman. There's something to say about that. There's some value in that. It is. But if she's a 3 and she goes and gets a degree that helps her make 100,000, the only guy she got more attractive to is a guy is the exact type of guy she don't want, the guy that wants to use her for her money. That's the only guy she got more attractive to. Like, getting that degree don't make her more attractive. Now, if a dude is in a position where 3s is what he messing with, regardless, because that's what he can pull, then yeah, he gonna pull his 3s. And if he find one with money, then yeah. But that guy who's down there at the bottom where he messing with them 3s, I mean, we know the deal. He's either unattractive and or broke or some combination of both. But because she's making that money, she don't want that. So it is what it is. But this notion that they talking, I don't know how you make an article like this without acknowledging that, oh, by the way, black men do make more money than black women. I don't know how you make this article without acknowledging that, oh yes, the gap in education between white men and white women is the same as the gap in, pretty much the same, give or take a percentage point or two, pretty much the same between the gap in education between black women and black men. Pretty much the same. Same with Hispanic and Latino women. So everybody more or less got the same problem. King Trini in the building says, so let me get this right. Black women should try to marry a man that is choosing them less than 1% of the time over men who marries them 89% of the time. I don't think you got the numbers exactly right, but yeah, your general point is more or less what's going on. King 20 back in the building says, sidebar, there are more black women in Brazil than America. Y'all are on them Brazilian stuff today. Shout out to everybody who be putting them passports in the air. Shout out to all y'all. He says, you know exactly why those facts were omitted. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. True. Race can provide a basis and capacity. Now he's going on with his premise that I reject, that they're doing it out of race loyalty. Like if they were truly about race loyalty, when that whole educated Lane Pookie and Ray Ray debate happened and it played out online, their response would have been, oh yeah, a black man with less swag but a better income, sign me up. They said, hell no, we won't go. If you don't get the pussy wet, it's a non-starter. So they ain't on some race loyalty. We can dead that one. But all right. True, race can provide a basis of compatibility, but race itself cannot solely sustain a relationship, and there are many bases of compatibility other than race. Black women's increased rate of interracial marriage from a mere 3% in 1980 to 12% in 2017. Black women's increased rate of interracial marriage from a mere 3% in 1980 to 12% in 2017. Okay, cool. Cool. It's on the way up, but I just don't think you got don't got solid evidence that they're just drop kicking away white guys or just are turning away men of other races. The evidence isn't there on that one to where you just say consider it. They should just consider it, like the article says. When all the the dating app sites shows that black women, they're the least chosen on dating apps for whatever reason. I'm not getting into that. All the data shows that men generally want them less. That's nothing to take particular joy in saying, but I'm just pointing out that he's operating under a faulty premise. Like, hey, they should just consider it when the dating app, all the data shows that they are swiping, they are initiating the conversations, they are all go. They're all systems a go when it comes to it. They're on board. Also reflects in there, like really, it's the other races of men who you really need to convince, not convincing black women. There's other groups of men that you need to convince. Also reflects in their increasing autonomy to choose partners that best serve them. They should not have to apologize or feel guilty for doing so. And those are the general points I agree with, that nobody should have to apologize or feel guilty for being with who they want to be with. I mean, that's where I'm at, and everybody can touch. You'll be able to touch and agree on that one. This is America. It's a melting pot. It's a racially diverse country. There's going to be interracial mixing and mingling. But what my only problem with it is, you can't just don't try to pull out the whole, the prison stats and all that. That's where it gets goofy. There have been little discussion in the media or culture about the white partners of prominent black women like Harris and Brown Jackson, and I hope this reflects the increasing social acceptance of such unions. I think it's very socially accepted. If so, then black women will be able to enjoy the relationship freedom they deserve. I reject the premise that they don't have relationship freedom. Reject. However, it was something else I was trying to get into. There was a lot of supporting articles that was with this, where they tried to point out the number of black women compared to black men, where they try to point out things like that. Like here it is right here. Notice that it's when you look at the population of black men, 21 million, black women, 22 million. So yes, there's more black women than black men. It was some supporting articles connected to this that tried to point that out as a big deal or a major factor in the equation. But the fact of the matter is that when you look at those over 65% compared to males, it's over 60%. It's at the very bottom in bold where it says 65 and over. That's over 60%. Women live longer than men. So we're really talking about when women get older. That's where a percentage of that 22 million gap is coming from. You see it starting to pick up around the 35 to 64 range. But in the range from 18 to 34, 18 to 34 is even. That does fall within the prime, I guess you could say the prime mating and the age where people the average age for marriages starts to fall within there, even though the average age for marriage is going up. But among those age groups and demographics, there's no shortage. There's no shortage. It starts becoming a shortage once women start getting older. Once women start getting older, men start dying off and women are outliving men. That's when you start to see a change. That's where you start to see a change. So this idea, this notion that is that it's 3-1 women to men, like this, that's nonsense. Black women to black men, that's nonsense. That has always been nonsense. that has always been nonsense. Those prime find a mate years is 50-50. It's 50-50. And even when you average in prison population, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Obama. He ain't do nothing for black folks. But even though I did do a nice stream with somebody that pointed out everything that Obama did for black people, but it was nothing specific that he did specifically for black people. It was things that he did for the whole country and that improved the numbers, and black people's numbers improved there, so he was able to take credit for it. But it was an interesting stream. So I was good with the stream. I was happy with it. But but anyway, it says African American combined municipal, county, jail, state, and federal prison population. That's everybody. That's even the guy that did one night in county at any given moment. That's everybody at any given moment. 728,000 black men locked up. So again, that's not tipping the scale that damn much either. So the whole notion about the education gap, the wage gap, income gap, and one, like I already said, I'm just reiterating points before I expand things out here a little bit. Just reiterating points. The gap between white women and white men education is almost equally the same as the gap between black women and black men. Now, white men make more money than white men. White men make more money than white women, but black men make more money than black women. Women are more educated, men make more. Hard blue-collar jobs that don't require a 4-year degree pay more than a lot of degreed jobs. And they're calling that marrying down. They're calling that economically unattractive. They're calling that men not being suitable or black men not measuring up to black women. That's what they're calling that. That's what they're calling that. Yeah, I was just looking back when I was married. I didn't even think about this. She was more educated. She didn't have a degree at the time, but still, she was pretty close to it. I know I made more money than her doing blue collar work that just required a high school diploma, if that. I did have some college, but I was working jobs that just required a high school diploma, some steel toe boots, an alarm clock, and just knowing how to operate a machine. I was working jobs like that and was making, more money than a lot of people with 4-year bachelor degrees. That's the nature of the game. That's how the world works. That's how America works. Great Britain in the building. He said the book Daughters of the Trade. Oh man, get out of there. The book Daughters of the Trade, providing transatlantic slave trade. They wanted women plaquage proved during antebellum slavery. They wanted white women. Today, they just call it divestment, all the same. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I've never read Daughters of the Trade. I hear so much about it, but as soon as I see somebody bring it up, I'm like, man, get out of there. I hear so much about that book. I don't even know what to make of it until I read it. Sonny's Hot Rod in the building says Black women, for the most part, are compatible with Pookies. Why put it off any further and just accept the fact that if you're a good and productive Black man, you're not compatible with most Black women. Unfortunately. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Red Alert in the building. He says the more Black women get with white men, the less my friends and fam can try to guilt me for marrying a Black woman. Hence, I'm 100% in favor of the article. Purpose. Yeah, no, you honestly, if you're a Black man, you with a non-Black woman, or even if you're with a Black woman, like me, you technically shouldn't have a problem. Technically shouldn't have a problem with the article in this context, in the context that, oh no, they trying to encourage Black women to get with white men. You shouldn't have a problem with it in that context. The only context that I'm looking at it as is, one, they said a lot of misleading things about Black men, and there was a lot of things that they said that just had a faulty premise that was grounded in nothing. It was a lot of that going on. So that's why I felt the need to go ahead and break it down. But if you've been on my channel for a while, you know a lot of this is old hat. We've been here, we've done this. We've been here, we've done that. We've done that. Been there, done that, went over it. But it's always time. Always good to review. Always good to review. Nothing wrong with a good review. Nothing wrong with a good review. But there's that. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all been coming through quite generous on the super chat end. About to check the Cash App. Shout out Cash Apps pretty soon. I know let me see. Funny how those white men are not required to have any swag and can be total cornballs. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I point out. That's one thing that this space unearthed. That's one thing that this space definitely unearthed. White dude, corny, no swag. Yeah, but he's a provider. The Educated Lane Pookie and Ray Ray debate that happened a few years ago. Somebody was bringing up Black men like that. We immediately heard them basically say he don't get the pussy wet. You're switching up your whole stance and position, depending on the skin color. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to, I think D-Rock being the only one who came through on the Cash App end. I think, yeah, that was just D-Rock Den who came through on the Cash App end, but I appreciate everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody in the building. About to dot an I and cross a T. Hold on. Let me click on that. All right. The link is in the chat for anyone who wants to come on up. Link is in the chat for anyone who wants to come on up and join this conversation. What are your thoughts on this article? I'm going to be linking a few articles. I mean, not a few articles, a couple videos in the description from BGS. I gotta dig it up and find it. I should have found it before the show. BGS did some really good stuff. Some things that I cited, but I didn't have the link for it. I cited it, but didn't have the link for it. So I do want to link that. I do want to include that into this conversation. So I'll be doing that after the fact. Shout out to Wayman Brown in the building, dropping a $5 super chat on it. Ed said it best, let them divest in peace. Yeah. He be hard on that. No, I'm not listen. if they didn't take a crap on black men in articles like this, I wouldn't respond to it. That's just flat out truth. I just flat out would not respond to it. If they did articles like this and didn't have nothing to say about black men in it, I would have nothing to say about it. That's where it all comes from. That's where my response to all of this comes from. The mere fact that they want to make it about black men, and that's what actually even David Carroll used to say that. Even though David Carroll was rest the dead, bless the dead, God rest the dead, bless the dead, whatever the saying is. He was a bit obsessed with with responding to them. He was a bit obsessed with it, but he did make the point quite clear that if it wasn't for them besmirching black men in every way that they can to try to make their case, then he said he wouldn't even respond to it. And I am 100% shoulder to shoulder with him on that. I'm 100% shoulder to shoulder with him on that. Let them tell it. You would think that black women's educational attainment and income was up there with the likes of Asian men and Asian women. And black men were just the retarded kid in the class at the bottom. Reality is, black men, we are more educated than Hispanic and Latino men and make more money than them. I don't know if we're more educated. No, we're not more educated than Hispanic and Latino women. But definitely, obviously, make more money than them. But either way it go, the gaps are in parallel when you look at the gap between white men and white women in terms of education, and the gap between black men and black women, and the gap between Hispanic and Latino women and Hispanic and Latino men. Is women make up almost 60% of the college campus. Like, everybody knows that, everybody understands it, but it's only one group of women with men on their side a lot of times that makes these articles where they make a big production about how much more educated they are than their men. It's the propaganda machine. And I'm not against propaganda because, okay, I understand how media works. I don't like the aspect of propaganda that's just outright dishonest. Propaganda, you could put out a biased message. You can put out a biased message, and that's where war comes in. Okay, that's where war comes in. It's about who somebody said. I'm not going to quote. That's a bad quote. How effective are you at getting your message out there? Your message could be right. Your message could be wrong. How effective are you at getting your message out there? How effective are you at defending your image, your perception, your views, your perspectives? How effective are you at getting it out there? That's really what it comes down to a lot of the times. That's really what it comes down to a lot of the time. It's a media narrative, and media narratives are important. Media narratives are vitally important. I mean, you can't get around that. You can't get around that. The narratives that results in, when it comes to getting funding, comes to organizations, when it comes to everything. Oh, we got somebody down in the back. Oh, that's my man Judge Zilla in the building. You probably about to come up and talk to us about AMC.
No, AMC's down right now. We're waiting for another. We're loading up the spring.
Okay, cool. But what's going on, man? What you got?
Hey, not too much here. You pretty much you. This is almost reminiscent. Review is good, but this is almost reminiscent of beating a dead horse, right?
Yeah, but if they put something in the New
as many
York
times as we've covered this,
they put something in the New York Post. They get make a big article to make a big splash, and then everybody reacting to it. Let's go ahead and put a formal official response out to it. There's that. That's what. But no, you are. It is review. It is a dead horse. But no, go ahead. I interrupted. Go ahead. You got it.
No worries. Just as an addendum to a couple of more recent things that you were saying there. Again, also factoring in with those earnings is the preponderance of women in state-sponsored employment versus uh, 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 versus the private sector, right? The We're talking social work. We're talking, you know, all of those, offices that deal with the state, you know, um, what do I want to say? The DDS, the STB, all of the DMV, um, WIC offices, DES offices, right? You go in there, and the preponderance of the workforce in those environments being, you know, being the women in those groups, and a lot of them being black women, not predominantly necessarily, but it just, I'm assuming in places of such like Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, it's probably I'm going to go on the assumption that it's heavily representative of the way it is down here, where there's a preponderance of Hispanic, Southwest here, where there's a preponderance of Hispanic women working in these environments. I'm going to say where these populations are greater, there's going to be a preponderance of African American women in those positions as well. Uh, Postal service, you know, all of those positionings in which it's, they're hired in these government positions, which factor into salaries made available. But the question I did want to bring up, though, is given certain sentiments around this place that I've noticed over the past 3 years.
Mhm.
Now, does dating out include the beige brigade in these numbers? And what I mean to say, are we counting the beige brigade as black, or are we counting the beige brigade as other? On either end, for the women dating out or for the women dating into the beige brigade. Because for at least 3 years that I've heard, there's been a big argument on whether half breeds are black.
Yeah, yeah, okay, see, okay, I generally tend to believe that that quite often when they're talking about somebody who's a half breed, as you said, that person is being defined as black. I remember T and Tamara, the
Hmm.
twins from the show Sister Sister. They're both married. One married a black man, one married a white man. And they were talking about the dynamics, and they basically said one of them chose to date interracially and the other one didn't. Do you see the problem there?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So, so clearly, they, at least from a social standpoint, we view it we view it that way, and I think on paper they view it the same way. I think on
Because
paper they view it the same
I've come
way.
across that. I'm a part of the beige brigade, right?
Yeah.
And so, well, your mama, no, my mama not. Right. That's why that one doesn't necessarily work. How come you don't want? Oh, your mama. Oh,
Yeah.
so when I date Hispanic, maybe I'm dating other, but when I'm dating black or white, I'm not dating other
Well, let me ask you this question. This is completely off subject. This is going to be kind of personal too.
or
But
Asian other.
you don't have any kids, correct?
I do not. Not that I'm aware. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah. Don't. I hate when people say.
Hey,
I hate when men, whenever a man says that, I'm like, dude, what kind of life you been living where you like,
no,
oh man, I don't
no.
know,
Well,
man.
look, okay. So you move around. Like, okay. So in my life, I've moved around. Right. I've lived in 15 different states. I've
Oh
lived
yeah,
in 5 different countries.
you
I've
dropped a
lived,
couple kids off. Yeah, okay, I get it.
I wasn't always like it wasn't always. It, you didn't use the Snickers bar or wrapper all the time.
Come on, man. But all right, well,
So
let me ask you this personal question. I remember you had basically laid out your lineage, and one time on the show, when you explained how you came to be the the beige rage, so to speak. And does that make you? But I mean, still, just from talking to you, I could tell you for the you technically identify as black, even though you have a lot of other stuff in you. But the fact
right.
that you're beige, do you look at if you get with or marry a non-black woman or a white woman, that your kid is going to come out like you can pass, but your kid might not pass for black. Like, do you care? Do you think about that?
No,
Does that matter?
no, I don't. But again, my position's a little bit. I come from a polyglot, polylingual, multi-ethnic family. Like we got Asians, we got Hispanics, we got uh, straight Europeans. We've got,
Mhm.
I mean, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Puerto Rican, Mexican, black, white, and native, or indigenous to America, indigenous to Canada. Like we got everything in my family. So
Yeah.
that's not really a concern. It's more of a concern of in our family, it's more of a concern of morals and ethics and that carrying forward with things. And I've fallen short of that for sure. But it's that
Yeah.
type of mentality.
No, that's good. I mean, listen, that's that's where America is going. It just like the way you describe your family, that's where it's going to go. There'll be pockets, there'll be enclaves of people who, only stick to their race. I don't know to what degree that's going to we're going to, there's going to be people that's going to self-segregate. It just is what it is. But more and more is going to look like how you describe your family, even among, I forgot what the cutoff age was. It might be like 10 years old that everybody under the age of 10, and that demographic under the age of 10, I don't even think white people are the majority. They're like 49-48%. It's that racially mixed. So fast forward 50 years, all this
Right.
race stuff that we're talking about is going to become irrelevant. It just is.
Or,
It's
or
just
or you're just gonna have to nitpick so specifically because I mean we're already doing that and fragmenting and trying to put people in particular baskets again. Uh, Arguments between FBA and ADOS and whether Haitians can be included, Africans can be included, you know, uh, uh, Caribbean folk, like it's a so you either get down to oops, sorry about that. You either get down to extremely granular on your shit, or right,
yeah.
or we're gonna overutilize 23 and Me and the like, and base it,
Yeah.
specifically, you're gonna get tattoos based on percentages, right? I'm
Oh,
which
yeah.
is one of my arguments that has always been with FBA ADOS folk is when they try to, well, what's the percentage that count? Again, how, because we understand that zero American blacks are 100% black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. I mean, look, I got a. It's so funny. I got a cousin who, I mean, okay, you could tell if you look at him. Obviously, if you see how he dress, okay, you're gonna associate him with black. If you hear him talk, you're definitely gonna associate him. You're gonna call him black once you hear him talk. However, I would argue that if he just put on the most universal outfit ever, just white t-shirt and just some, I don't know, some and just some Wrangler jeans and some little Skechers was on his feet or whatever, and just walked in the room and didn't say anything, like didn't open his mouth, didn't say a word, people would not be able to figure out what he was. But when you just see him and
Oh,
just in his full swag and talking and interact, okay, yeah, you could tell
that's
he's from
me.
the hood. Yeah,
That
exactly.
that that's me. Okay, 100% of black people can tell.
Mm-hmm.
100% of 100%. Well, 80% of Hispanics can tell, right?
Mm-hmm.
70% Asian, you know, 70% of Middle Eastern, right? But it's like 60-40 on whether white people can tell what I am, especially if I keep my hair very trimmed very tight.
Yeah. No, my
Um,
cousin, because my cousin I'm talking about, he cut hair. So his haircut, the way he be tapered up, and he got wave 360 waves, the whole that gives him away too. That gives him away too. But if he didn't have a haircut that looked like like a black barber, faded him up, he could walk in the room like you said, and I think like most black people could tell, but I would argue that most white people wouldn't know what category, where to put him.
Dude, if I had $10 for every time a white person has argued with me whether I'm black or not.
Yep.
And again, one of the things is, I say this before, I am privy, again, shit gets said in front of me that'll never get said in front of you. I'll just put it that way.
Ooh.
That being said, they don't talk about you as much as you think they talk about you.
Right.
But shit gets said in front of me that will never be said in front of you because of the automatic visual cue that you give versus what I give.
Right. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. But we got Will Brown. Will before we go to Will Brown, Captain Cisco in the building. He says, "What would Jada do if Will divorced Jada and got a white woman?" Oh man, she'd probably lose all her hair. Boom, boom, bing. All right. Anyway. All right. Anyway, I got to get the little boom, boom. But all right, Will Brown in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic. What's your
Hey, good morning.
What's your take? Yeah, I can hear you. What's your take? What's your thoughts on the article?
So just following up what you was just talking about, how like white men don't really have to do anything compared to black men. That article, the main picture is just him giving her a hug after the case was over. And remember, during the case, the whole time, all of the media was about, look at how these white men are attacking the strong black woman. And then, she just to get a hug at the end. And that means that, date the white woman. I mean, date the white man. It's kind of interesting because I think that article came out before the Oscars. So you just compare those two things together. You just got to sit in a courtroom as a white man and you're an option. But as a black man, you got to go ruin your damn career slapping people, slapping the taste out of people's mouths. So it's just kind of.
Wow.
I think the perfect example out of that is Lonnie Love, right? Lonnie Love, when she was out there, she was disappointed because she wasn't getting Morris Chestnut, but look what she got in the white dude.
Will Brown, you just made a really good point. Ketanji Brown's husband should have got up there and slapped Ted Cruz and sat back down and said, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." He should have
with the backhand.
The way they was letting her have it. You're right. You should per what they talking about what Will did.
It's crazy. We gotta be Rambo, G.I. Rambo, anything that happened. Versus like what you're saying, you could just be a Skechers wearing plaid shirt, life loving dude, and you're just the catch, you're the prize. It's a strange world right now.
Yeah. Well, y'all explain this one to me because I could barely put words on the thing that was said right in the beginning of the article. So I'm gonna reread that part and maybe y'all could help apply some words to this because it just blows me away. Well, he talked about how Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Kamala Harris, two of the most powerful positions on earth, and they're both black women. They hold those positions, but then they said, but Brown and Harris also share a personal attribute that is the keyword equally noteworthy. Each has a white husband. The mere fact that this man said that Kamala Harris, who is a Joe Biden skipped heartbeat away from being president of the United States, from being the most powerful person on earth, and Ketanji Brown Jackson about to be on the United States Supreme Court, it's equally noteworthy that they also married white men. That's one that I can't even.
Well, the thing is, man, if you don't mind,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah. Before I make my short point, I just want to say congratulations on the progression of your YouTube channel, bro. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I just wanted to say that it's like basically they're equating all of the work those Black women put into their careers to gain an elevation. They're equating that to just marrying a white guy. So even women who don't work as hard as the two women that this article is talking about, even women, Black women who don't work hard as them, they can still get the same accolades as those women by just marrying a white man. And that's how you know that it's a propaganda machine.
Well, come on, guys, come on. Look, I can't say that. Look, and all the articles written about Bill de Blasio and Robert De Niro, you know, the accolades, one of the accolades that both of these people have in common is, it's always put in there, isn't it? The white man that wears the Black women, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
I just wanted to say, I decided to call in because I wanted to say this. I wanted to bring up the point that how disingenuous the title of that article is. Like the title says, why Black women should consider, in quotes, consider marrying white men, right? As if they haven't been marrying white men just because they haven't considered it. It's like, you know what I think we Black men should do? We Black men, since we, apparently date so many non-Black women, we Black men should write articles titled "Why Black Men Should Consider Marrying Black Women," and just see how everyone feels about that.
No, the propaganda is so strong in the other way that if an article said that, like, I think people would receive that question as a good question. I honestly believe that. Honestly believe they would receive it as a good question, because in the mind of people who don't know the data, they think that the vast majority of Black men probably marry out. That's how they view it.
And the Black man is the white man of the Black community.
I still don't get that one.
Or white woman of the Black community.
If we're the white man of the Black community, then why aren't they trying to marry us?
Well, no, I think I misspoke. I think they said the Black man is the white woman of the Black community.
No.
I think that's what they said.
I'm forgetting the quote now. I'm forgetting. I know what quote you're referencing.
Oh,
but
I could be wrong, but I thought it was closer to what you said first. But I could be wrong about that.
I think I actually messed it up the first time.
Well, either way, it's all bull, right? It's all bull, right?
But because they're saying that because I think in that they were saying that the Black men are coddled and complaining where they have no complaints comparative to the Black woman.
Oh,
that's that Black feminist, like the Black man benefits from the patriarchy mess. And I wrote what I really think it is that a lot of not all Black women, but a lot of feminist type Black women, they know that Black men have always had to persevere and overcome through worse experiences than them, but they want, like, it's like a power move. They want to always play the oppression Olympics so that they'll always have some sort of benefit over Black men in society. I think that's what that stems from.
Yeah, I can generally agree with that statement. Damn, it was another part of the article that I wanted to throw it back to, but the whole thing about equally noteworthy that they married a white husband. Look, I'll be the first to say it, even though I can be very critical when it comes to the black black female accomplishments. How they just basically throw a black girl magic parade about anything, and what's embedded in the lingo is kicking dirt on Black men. But I'll be the first to say that Kamala Harris, even though a lot of people pulled out her record and showed that, okay, she was doing a lot of Black folks dirty when she was,
Black men in particular. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you could also say she used her mouth to clean up a lot of Black men.
She used her what?
Her mouth to clean up a lot of Black men.
Yeah. But either way it goes, look, what they accomplished is what they accomplished.
Well, remember we were dusty, right? We're dusty. We're dusty. So she wiped us up good.
Wipe me down, wipe me.
But no, man. Listen, when we're talking accomplishments like that, I'll be the first to to say that what they accomplished is great, and they should find it like I think black women should find it disrespectful. Sort of like how I brought up, my main man SKC. I found it, to be a little disrespectful to Robert Smith when he started trying to give his white wife credit for Robert Smith's billions. I was like, hold on, man, you can't don't do that. That's a brilliant man. He accomplished that on his on his own. Don't try to sprinkle some white girl magic on it.
Well,
Like no.
and most of that while he was married to a black woman, but
Yeah, but well, it started getting.
But the woman had no part in what he accomplished. Yes.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure she was supportive and helpful and kind.
Any more than Kobe's wife, made any layups for him.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah. So that I feel the same way about this article as I did when I hear people who take positions on the other side of it that look similar. Like let's not do that. If somebody accomplished something, let's give them credit for their accomplishment. They but so that's where. That's where I'm at with that.
He wouldn't have been able to do that if she didn't heat up those chicken dinners.
Well, I think that's why
he would have never figured out how to eat.
Well, I think that's why. See, I find that a lot of black women, they project their thought process onto black men. So one of the reasons why some of them look down upon black men, no matter what your position is because they're thinking that, oh, a white man put him in that position, or white society put him in that position, because a lot of them think that they can't get in any form of success without the white man. So, but they don't know that we black men and them black women are two different entities that think different and operate differently.
Well, I mean, it's a faulty concept regardless, because listen, as I've said once, I said it again, black people, we helped build this country. Our men have fought and died in every war for this country. We're citizens of this country. We pay taxes to this country with the fund, the government. Like we did this, like we put in on this. This is our shit. So to try to say that you couldn't get there without white society, it's like this society
couldn't get there without us, bro.
I mean, no, this society exists from just the collective effort of a lot of people from a lot of different races, all putting in on it. So no matter how you slice it, no matter how you smack it or flip it or rub it down, this is our shit too. So
that perspective, okay, the perspective that the gentleman below me, I forgot your name, sorry.
Keith, I'm sorry.
Keith, that's a perspective from a woman's perspective. Again, okay, so we have Freddie Figures, right? Building cellular company from ground up, right? Spike Lee, right? From the ground up, his situation.
Right.
Give me a black woman who's built from the ground up without it having been handed to her, without her being handed a position in somebody else's organization.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty on all different.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, just simple. The point I was making was simple. That I'm sure there's plenty that you can name that have done that. I mean, that's a fairly common thing in this country for somebody to build something up, generally on their own. Yes, there's levels and degrees to it of how much of it was really on your own, but their argument, the way that they spin it, the way that they place it, they're literally saying that because it's almost like they're making an argument. This country is not our country, so this country not being our country, don't matter what you accomplish in it, you're accomplishing it because in their eyes, I guess the white system, and by white system I think they mean the government that we fund with our tax dollars, is allowing its citizens to thrive. It's like that's where the argument breaks down to me. Is like, so it's almost like it's a way to gaslight us into oblivion, to basically saying until we either leave or overthrow this country and build Wakanda from the ground up, nothing that you accomplish, even as a self-made 100% self-employed businessman, it don't matter. Self-made, make $1 million, it don't matter. You did it in this country that that the founders of it was not the same skin tone as you. It's
Yeah,
like,
you did it in this country where it wasn't made for you, but oh, white America is just being nice by giving you, black men a little bit of a chance. So, we black women aren't going to be impressed by it. But so, yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. But to piggyback off of what the other gentleman was saying, he used the example of Spike Lee, right? And he said
okay.
Spike Lee started his career from ground up, right? And that's a good example. And then you asked, name me a black woman who did the same. And I can't, but I can cross-reference a really perfect example, which is Ava DuVernay, the director. Now, she's a fantastic director, right? Are you guys familiar with Ava DuVernay?
Name a movie.
She directed most recent Martin Luther King film. What is she known for?
Let me see here.
The name rings so many bells.
I forgot what film she's known for, but she's actually a really great director. The only difference, like you take her, I think she's from Compton too. But you take a black female director like her and compare her to Spike Lee. One of the biggest differences, her career was basically sort of commingled with the whole giving black people like opportunity, like diversity propaganda, right? Black girl magic, all that stuff. So she was sort of funneled into this whole directing situation by that narrative. Whereas Spike Lee, it was totally different.
Right.
For him, he made content based on some of the same concepts, but there wasn't a community of people just like blanketing his directorial debut as such. And that is an example of something being given to a black woman that wasn't given to a black man.
See, I can't even go all the way with that one because I'm sure I'm sure whatever criteria that she got the gig. I just saw that she directed the Now They See Us. I think that was on, Selma and the Now They See Us that was about to.
But it does say specific. It does say specifically that she was like 32 before she picked up a camera, and that what he's saying is accurate. That like she got in under like a black girl rocks, black girl magic situation.
No, I understand.
To where, so and that's what I'm saying is there's a difference between buying a $500 car and fixing it so that you can drive it, and being handed a brand new car when you're 16.
Right.
There's a big difference there.
Yeah, I still would be willing to say that there's plenty of black females that directors or that made it in whatever industry that weren't exactly just given or handed something. I mean, we can end up walking down the path of doing the same stuff that we just accused them of doing if we go that route. I mean, there's so that's why I don't generally go that route. I mean, I just look at everything in totality across the board. In that the propaganda that gets put out there, when you look at articles like this, you would think that they were that black men were just at the bottom and black women were just making more money and just running laps around and dunking on black men in every way. But when you look at it, you just look at the raw numbers of it. That's not the case. Not that we should be comparing ourselves to women, but don't make a propagandist article basically making it seem as if they're as if they're making more money. Like I pointed out, there's more black millionaires. There's more black male millionaires than what there are black female millionaires. There's more black men making $250,000 than what there are black women making $250,000. More black men making right around that 100,000 range than black women making around that 100,000 range. And it is a fair point that there are some people on extreme ends of it that like to try to invalidate it, the accomplishments by saying, "Oh, well, this is you in a white man's country. They letting you do it." And I just think that's nonsense. But car designer Chris in the building with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate that very much. He said the LBGXYZ chick. I don't know who he was talking about. I think he's talking about the chick that was briefly on the panel and disappeared. But we got the living legend LAR movement in the building. What's going on?
Good morning, good people. How y'all doing?
Doing
Good morning.
wonderful. Doing wonderful.
I'm kind. It's kind of funny to me about this type of stuff because I guess it's okay to be less successful than your wife if you're a white guy doing it with a black woman. Because under all other circumstances, you'd be dusty. We had the same thing happen when Lonnie Love was dating the painter. The same thing with the actress who was dating the chef and was getting caught having sex in public. I think it's the same thing with the actress who recently was sitting on a balcony naked, and that was supposed to be empowering for black women. So, we got the same thing even with Serena. So now all of a sudden it's okay if he's white. Now if you were dating a black woman and she happened to be quote unquote more successful than you would be sorry and you need to get your stuff together, and she's doing laps around you. But if you're white with a pot belly, receding, I take that back. You don't have to have a pot belly.
Oh no, don't take it back. Don't take it back. No. Stick with that. I like that.
He can fry you chicken and help you go out and kill the world because you are a success. And for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, most of these ladies don't actually wind up having kids with these guys. They don't necessarily have a family with these guys. And the goal is to get two post-war interracial people together to make her look good. And by the way, I don't think they complain when they get cheated on by being so successful in the workforce until he leaves for a younger white chick, because that's how it normally ends. It normally ends, she's successful, black girl magic, and boy chicken, and he leaves her for a Hooters girl, and she rides off into the I'm not bitter type of sunset. Because there is no quote unquote child support or anything. They're not like, what's the guy, Jesse Williams. You ain't seen that type of bitter black woman. As a matter of fact, they've been more Halle Berry-esque. You gotta pay and shut up and take it and still fall in love with another. I might be missing something, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, Halle Berry. Yeah, she's paying for the white dude, right?
Well, she's with the black guy right now, though. I think.
I know, but then she had to pay like alimony and all kind of other stuff.
Oh yeah, I think she had celebrated when they had decreased it by like $8,000.
Yeah.
Her and Aisha Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah, he be all kind of dusties. he be all kinds of dusty.
LAR, I think you're confusing the difference though. And Bernard as well, because you just said it. There's a difference between black men are dusty, white men are talcumy.
Or what?
Talcumy.
Talcumy?
Yes.
I don't know what talcumy is.
They're more baby powder fresh. They're not talcumy, they're baby powder fresh because their dust smells better.
Who's out here smelling dust? Trying to compare dust smells.
Johnson and Minnie Johnson, baby powder.
Oh man. But no, it's wild though. It's wild. One thing I'll throw at you, LAR. One thing that was funny is that the dude hold on, wait, somebody trying to clown me? Hold on, wait, he said. That's what he says. No, come on, man. You slow be. I don't know what the word talcumy is.
Talcum powder, right? The baby powder, talcum powder, or cornstarch, right?
Okay. I didn't know. Anyway,
you got kids. You don't know nothing about baby dog.
I just bought some baby. Well, this was many moons ago at this point, but when I had to buy some baby powder, I just bought. It said baby powder about it.
All
That's
right, hey,
like a
I'm not gonna
brand.
let you. I'm not gonna let you sit in this alone, man. I didn't know either.
Thank you,
Black
thank you.
people,
Is
Sorry.
that
black
like a
people don't know
brand of?
talcum
I
powder.
felt bad. I was like, I'm not gonna let him sit in there by himself with this.
Is that a
Hey
brand of
man,
baby powder?
Talcum
Southwest,
powder
Southwest.
is
We
a
know about we know
old,
about baby powder.
yeah. Talcum powder is old. It's like talcum powder is like trail mix to black people. Like we know something exists, but we don't know what it is.
Johnson's and the Johnson's baby powder. You know that in the
I was
baby
like
oil.
basil leaf.
That was all I was on. But anyway, Eliar, what do you think about the ridiculousness of the statement where he talked about in the article, Ralph Richard Banks, who wrote the article, he said that, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris, they, two of the most powerful positions on earth, and more equally notable, they're both married to white men. What do you think about that? That emphasis on the equally notable that they are married to white men.
I think he really loves scandal. That's what I think. Like that's all he really likes scandal. And what was the other one? When what was the other? Sanaa Lathan was the side chick to the white guy. A family
Oh,
that
that was
prays.
that Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah,
With the
because
with the William Cartwright dude. Yeah.
Because truth be told, and I hate to say this, but I don't hate to be petty about this. A lot of times when sisters get with white guys, that's really the beginning of their fall off. They just fall off. It looks better with a white guy. It's like them dating. It's like a black sister who is dating a football player, then she dates a reverend, and then she dates a white battle rapper. Like that is definitely the beginning of your fall off.
That is eclectic.
I mean, it's a true story, but it's where we go. It's where sisters go. That's their pinnacle of falling off. Because if she could get a white dude that does better than her, she did the best. Getting a white guy is the equivalent to Denzel to some of these chicks. If they can get Peter Griffin, that would be like them marrying Michael B. Jordan.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Hold on, Judge. Did you just do Peter Griffin's laugh?
Yo. Hey, you think they go for Quagmire?
Oh yeah,
Giggity
Quagmire. Quagmire got all them in the bag. That's Quagmire though. That's he's a
he a jawline. He got that jawline. Yeah.
What about Brian?
Quagmire.
What about Brian? You think Brian got a shot?
Stop.
He's a white dog. He's a white dog.
Yeah, exactly.
I said stop. Oh man. But all right, we at the 2-hour mark. I said I wasn't gonna go 3 hours on this one. We at the 2-hour mark. So I think I'm gonna wrap this on up. Quagmire is like just the most unexplainable ladies man ever. It's like
Hey, Quagmire got Loretta.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Quagmire,
well, I mean, for a night.
I think Quagmire's strategy I think he literally shoot his shot at every woman he see. Everyone. Go ahead.
I just realized something. And this is gonna be wrong, but I got a theory. I don't think Woody Allen would be in jail if he was R. Kelly. I think it's that bad.
Oh
wow.
And the stylist breathes a lot of thought right there.
Yeah, I ain't even messing with that one.
Hey, but hey, I don't want to keep you, man. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It was an interesting show, man. I just wanted to say that I mean, I just feel like at the end of the day, black men, who are like upwardly mobile in society, like these types of articles, I think it's just was it Future who said, "Devil just trying to be seen." You know what I mean? I think that's that's what it is. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're still a threat to a lot of people. What we represent, whatever it is they think we represent, you know what I mean? They want to sort of debilitate it. So the propaganda machine is like is sort of operating and trying to operate in a direction that's opposite of us. But I feel like, whatever happens. And as long as we're working toward our goals, we'll have all the options of, whatever. So that's all I want to say. But hey, thank you so much for having me on the show, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for coming on through. Hell, LAR and Judge, y'all got any last words y'all want to leave us with before we get the hell up on out of here?
I'll just leave with this. Beige power, the khaki crew shall not be denied.
LAR, take us home, man. What you got any last words on this?
I actually know of a guy who has a Nazi tattoo on his chest who dates black women and they don't have a problem with it. So this proves part of this thing, right? Yeah, God bless everybody on that note.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Right on. And to everybody who supported the stream in any way, shape, or form, appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody, if you like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, Super Chat, whatever you did to support the stream, appreciate you. And we are out of here. Peace. We gone.